Well, I got I looked at it and I went back in there after we clicked off of it, Billy, and we had
Uh-huh.
there was a bunch of people in there watching us.
Dang.
We just
Well,
wasn't seeing the comments for some reason.
yeah, I
So,
bet it's still the case because we got zero.
Says there was like 9 comments on it.
all right, well, we're back live again, Dan. So come on over and chit chat with us.
I shall do that, sir.
All right.
You know what?
Hmm?
Um,
I got a message from a guy named
somebody,
Samuel. Said that somebody says hello, Billy Temple,
right?
Facebook user.
I wonder, did I send it to the group instead? I did. I did. But we got comments now, so.
Well, one person, but I don't know why we're not seeing who that is. But
And there's one from YouTube.
there's 4 people in there.
Facebook user, that's because that's from the group.
Well, no, see, that's Hello Talk Him. That's Bobby.
Right, but it's from the group. I accidentally posted in the group, shared it to the group.
Ah, that's why we can't see their names.
Yeah. Hey, anybody that's watching, come to the page so we can tell who you are on your comments.
Yeah, go to Base Wars Facebook page.
Yeah, hang on, let me go find the
See if you can put it in there.
link to it.
I like turtles. That must be Dan Current. I can see
Yeah.
Spencer there. Hey, Spencer. Hello from Canada. Oh, we got some Canada people watching.
All right.
We're getting popular, Billy.
Right. Okay, y'all, here is the page to go to, and then we'll be able to see who you are.
Samuel,
Thanks,
yes,
God,
we're
yeah.
fixed now. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so
That's got to be Dan Current right there.
something must have just went weird whenever we
Went live
started that first time.
Yeah. Crap. I'm going to mute myself here for a second.
Right? Hey, Jamie. So, hey, I just played this really cool video that I worked really hard on. So I'm going to play it again for you guys just for fun. A couple of you may have saw it, but I think some didn't. So this will allow some people some time to come on in. Check out the video here. If I can figure out how to quickly do it.
No video.
Right?
The video is not working again. Hey, Tommy. Hey, everybody else. This is.
Ain't nothing working tonight, man. We'll try one more time. It's like it's trying to work. This one where it goes.
There it goes. Lagging a little bit, but there it goes.
Yeah, this is a mad way to do it.
Lagging a lot of it.
Yeah, it ain't no fun. We don't want to do it, y'all. Fun might last.
Yep.
It didn't last.
We don't like that, so we'll have to fix some work on that.
Yeah, I made the video and it's too big to upload here. I should have just played it through stream OBS.
It actually is a pretty. What I got to see of it a little bit ago was a really good video, guys.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So, except for there
A
wasn't
lot of you guys' stuff.
There wasn't none of my Midwest stuff up here though.
Right. The Midwest guys got cooties, man.
I guess.
Right.
So what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight? Anybody like to come on here and chit chat with me and Billy tonight? I think we kind of just are just running with what we have, I guess.
Well, I tell you what I learned today is that I'm going to start reaching out to everybody by email. Because what if Facebook goes down, right? So I'm going to be compiling a list of emails, and then we'll start broadcasting this to the website, my website, and maybe at least at worst case scenario, if something ever goes really bad with Facebook, we'd be able to keep our business going, you know?
Right? Something. We'll have to do something.
Right?
Thank God for YouTube.
Yeah. So tell me about your show. Where was it?
My show this weekend, it was in Wichita, Kansas. First time Base Wars was up there. We had a nice little turnout. It was in a great field. I definitely feel like it's going to have the potential to grow a lot.
Y'all have a lot of field shows up there.
Yeah. We get lucky sometimes. I wouldn't say a lot, but we get lucky sometimes. I try to always find that nice little grassy spot, even if it's like a big, huge parking lot. I want to set my tent in that grassy spot.
Yeah, you could. Y'all should grow some peas, man, and eat good.
I'm coming to Sandbag Saturday, Jimmy.
English peas, you know.
That must be Dan Current.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know who that is. Well, no, because Dan Current don't run in the lanes, so that can't be him.
Saturday. Where are you Saturday? That's Springfield, right?
Yeah, I'm in Springfield. Facebook put everybody in timeout. Yeah, everybody go over to our Base Wars Facebook page and click on there and watch it from there. We can actually see your comments. If you're just watching from other links, it's just going to say Facebook user, so we won't actually be able to tell who you are. I apologize.
So check this out. Man, at the show that we had this Friday night at UAF over in Mobile, Eddie brought a guy that done, I don't know what he did to the corn, but he sold corn, grilled corn or roasted corn. I don't know.
It was roasted corn, probably.
It was really good, man.
Did he put
that's all he did.
Mayonnaise, did he put some mayonnaise on it and a little bit of sauce and stuff? Oh, boy, that makes my mouth water thinking about it. Elote. Yeah. Well, you ever had elote before?
No.
I'm going to have Antonio make you some good elote when you come up here.
And the tacos were good.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
We could just stay with tacos.
Antonio could cook.
Yeah. We should do that again. I'm coming up there really soon, you know.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You got some trophies for everybody up here.
Need to pick a show or make a show somewhere in the center up there.
I'm actually doing a show, and we need to make a post on it November 13th, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I'll actually here. Let me look at my messages, and I can let you know. It's at my audio. It's at my audio in Kansas here in Kansas. I've been meaning to make this show for a while.
See how close they are. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Hopefully, we can do that. That'd be awesome.
I wrote this down like, I don't know, probably 4 months ago, and he reminded me 2 days ago that I needed to.
So one time when I was coming from, I don't remember where I was coming from, but I think it was coming from Kicker, or either it was from where you are. Let's see.
Only shows Billy's link.
Shows Billy's link. Do I have a link?
I came show louder than for win. That must be Jason the Clue.
Right. Right.
But
listen,
That was so wrong. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I was. Oh, hey, this is a cool one we need to announce because I need to make the event. We are going to be at Ruckus and Chill. Robert, right there. Robert's going to run
The
Ruckus. And
Ruckus?
Chill. Yeah, we'll do Ruckus.
Damn, Dan Kern's been begging me for years to go to Ruckus.
Right? If you're off that weekend, you should go.
I might have to try to figure out something. I don't know.
I don't.
Are you going this not this weekend, I think it's next weekend. I believe it's next weekend to Wake the Dead.
I don't think so, man. I don't know.
You're not going to Wake the Dead, really? That's the show that I wanted to actually go up and run at, but
we got ourselves uninvited. So
well, it's because I didn't follow up with them, is why. Yes,
yeah,
it
I
is.
didn't either. You got Springfield.
November 14th is the date, and it's my audio, and I'll send you the address and all that.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
Well, I know it's my fault for not sending it to you.
No. I mean, I don't have anything on the 14th.
So you should definitely come up that weekend then.
Yeah, and I'm coming to Luch's show whenever that is.
Well, that's actually before that. That's October 30th.
Okay. Well, I'm coming to that one, and and then I'll come to that November one. So I'll bring trophies both. Figure out who's going to come to which show, and I'll bring trophies to both of them.
Well, I doubt. I don't know.
No, there won't be that many probably at Luch's. Is that what you're supposed to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I don't know about my normal competitors up there as far as either one, truthfully, because you got to think. Luch's is about 5 hours away, so some of my competitors down here are not going to drive that far. But my show that I have here in November 14th, they'll definitely. If they're not, we're going to be so close to my house, we can bring them to my house and I can get them to people.
Yeah, that sounds like a winner.
One way or another. So it's official, everybody. I apologize, or we apologize, but we will be having trophies to you guys probably the middle of November. How about that? We'll just say that to be nice. Write them dates down, Billy, so you don't forget.
I already forgot. What was this one right here in Kansas?
And Kansas is November 14th.
Okay. All right.
Nobody goes to Loach's show because he can play no 160. Okay.
Hey, December, January.
Yes, we're definitely going to do that. Me and you need to talk. Yeah, we have. She bought a old shop a shop that's been around for a long time that I'm really glad that somebody brought back to life. Mm-hmm. So it's just about 10 minutes from our house. So
that's how far?
10 minutes from my house.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
After Midwest Finals, I need a month to retool music class lanes near you. That's what's up. I'm definitely glad to see that, Steve.
Right. No doubt. Hey, Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
Say something funny, man.
What's that?
That's the wrong button.
Right. Oh. Now you got to play the laughing one just for that. I mean, come on.
I can't remember. Where is it, though? That's not it.
That's not it.
Is that it? Yeah. So apparently, we got a bunch of people on the group. I guess that's where we need to be, even though we can't.
I don't know how you. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people watching this right now that we can't see their comments.
I can see them. I just can't tell who they are.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, hey Gary Davis, I guess is in there. Maybe Antonio. I don't know. See,
Yeah,
that's exactly what your guys' comments come up like for us.
yeah.
Right there. I see Gary Davis. See, I mean, we don't
Right.
know who you guys are. I apologize.
But if y'all cuss us out, we can go back and look on the group and see who it is later. So. Right now, this is good. Dan Kermit, right?
Good old Steve Herman been drinking. Yeah, we can see you, Steve. I don't know where you're watching, probably through our actual page, not the Base Wars group. Everybody else, I think, is watching through the Base Wars group.
Yeah, you can go to here's the page. Tell you. I mean, we can.
Of course, we got good old Jamie Brotowski in here.
Right.
Hayden Price with the low C pillar. Well, we can see you, Hayden.
Yeah, we got Hayden.
Where's let's see.
We tried to. We sent messages to T Fade to see if he would come on with us tonight, but I don't know if he got them because Facebook was messed up. So.
Yeah, I think it was probably messed up real bad.
I got I made one special. Here's another one. I got like 4. I figured Dan would be on here tonight, you know. Dan with that one, right?
Well, I just sent him an invite, so we'll see.
Trouble is, I don't remember which button they are. So
you have to put like a little sticker on there so you remember which one's which.
Oh no, it's software.
Software. Okay.
Yeah.
Can't you go in and just rename them then?
Probably. Oh, hey, who in here cuts decals?
Dominic Williams, one of my good friends up here, cuts decals.
Get a price on how much to make our Base Wars decals.
And my daughter actually cuts decals too as well. I guess I got to mention that before I get in trouble. But yeah,
right.
Okay. I will actually look at that, no problem.
Cutter died, so got to buy another one.
Well, I actually know a couple of people up here that, he did at one point in time have a couple of cricket machines and another one that he wanted to sell.
Well, so check this out. Just to kind of put in perspective for you, how many decals you think would be good for you to have on hand, say, of each one? 5?
Of each one, yeah, I'd say at least 5.
Yeah. So 5, and you got 140, 145, 150, 155, 160, 165, 170. Not many of those, but 175. You know. All right, so that's 7. We got the SPL one. Let's just easy say 10 for easy math, okay?
Yeah, we'll just say 10.
So in one color, you get 10 decals, 5 each, 50 in one color. And we got about 10 colors.
Tommy actually hit me up. He wants to know if he has permission to wrap his van with Base Wars stuff.
Yeah, man.
I told him I did not see an issue with it. But he's kind of being a jerk about it a little bit. He wants to wrap it with our name all over it and take it to other organizations finally.
Oh. Well, man, if you get shot, man, I ain't got no hospital money.
Hey, Sam. How are you, sir?
So,
and I definitely got decals for you. No problem, Tommy. And I got your award sitting here on the table, too.
Yeah, that was I was cutting some other decals I got some silver out, and then it died. Oh man, is that Dan?
Yes, sir.
That's Lieutenant Dan. Hey,
What's up?
man. So I called Dan for like the last 6 months, but we finally got hooked up on we talked about some printers, right? And some cutters and stuff.
Yeah,
Dan,
yeah.
since we talked, mine died.
I mean, Dan only works at a sign shop
Right?
that does that stuff for a living.
Something like that. Y'all gotta forgive me. I'm eating dinner. I'm fat and hungry.
Right? What you eating there?
Yeah, we
Let me
don't
some spaghetti.
get dinner on Monday nights.
Oh, is that spaghetti?
Yes, it is.
Man, I didn't know what you. I guess that was bread, huh?
I'm just over here putting a little croissant with it, some garlic butter on it.
Yeah, I thought that was them long, skinny kind of breads. I try to not eat anything tubular in public.
I'm over here putting all the noodles in my mouth,
Right? Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it was hard for me to type those decluisms in there like that.
Was that you doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
See, I wasn't sure who that was, damn it. I was like, what the? Okay.
Hey, man. Right?
Oh, I was trying.
Oh, Dan. Where's your better half at tonight?
She's in the kitchen. Just got done cooking the dinner.
Dang.
Hiding from you, of course, probably.
Yeah, of course. I can't blame her.
No, absolutely not.
But yeah, Wake the Dead, guys. I heard you mention it.
Yeah? You going to Wake the Dead, sir?
You know I am. Billy gonna be there too.
Yes.
Even though he thinks he's not.
I might go ahead and do it.
I know this one guy that is probably going to go.
Who's
Yeah.
Me. And drive the Tahoe. Hopefully. I'm trying to talk Mama into it. We'll see if she'll let me.
Come down there and get this Demo King trophy, dog.
Oh, that ain't going to happen with Steven and you and everybody else around. I'm not getting no Demo King shit.
Well, who knows? I mean, you got a better chance of getting that Demo King trophy than I got to ever get my Demo Dominator trophy. So come on down there and get you a Demo King trophy.
That's not true, Steve. I know you were listening, ass. You bring your butt to my show November 14th, you'll have your trophy.
Oh, no, I got to go in the middle of winter and come to the show to get my trophy, dang it.
Bring a sweatshirt.
Yeah. He don't need no sweatshirt. He's got enough meat on his bones.
I got insulation. We're good.
Right.
It'd be nice, cool weather for you. You'll be just fine.
Mr. Herman. No, sir. That was the other way around. No. I'm going to call you out on that one. No.
So, Dan, what's in your vehicle now, man? Is it still
The same thing. Same stuff.
Still the same build.
Still the same build.
What's going to be in your vehicle, though, Dan?
Some stuff.
Apparently the same build, because
Apparently the same build at the moment.
conversation about 6 months ago.
Yeah, this has been an ongoing conversation for a while.
I wondered if I just missed it.
No,
you ain't missed it. It's still the same thing. It's been.
Right.
I finally got my last package today, so the truck build is officially on.
Oh. You playing with packages again, Jimmy?
Yes, sir. It's going to be a nice sound quality vehicle. It's going to have a little bit of bass in it, but just a sound quality.
Sound quality. What's that?
That's
This
nice.
ain't everyday audios, damn it.
Hey, we tried to get T-Fade on here. I don't think he ever saw our messages.
I drag him in.
Yeah, he don't like us.
And he 21s. Yep.
He heard you guys promote stunt balls and DBs, so yeah. He said he's out.
Hi, Jackie.
Jimmy says hi. She can't hear. I got the Bluetooth thing in.
Oh.
Man, you're all fancy.
Well, now y'all got some fancy studios and backdrops and pianos and jets and whatever the hell else.
I forgot to push that button when you came in.
What's fancy about that? It's just my basement wall with a plaque on it.
Mine's
Oh,
just
wait.
some green fabric, like some green socks.
So yeah, where's your fancy green screen at, Jimmy?
I found it.
Oh man.
Maybe I still have. Oh boy, don't tempt me with that Pinto. I don't know who that is, but don't tempt me.
You
I've
mean like
always,
a Ford Pinto?
Jimmy needs a
yes,
Pinto.
I've either
Wow.
I've wanted actually what I've really wanted is the Wayne's World car. You know the big bubble.
Yeah. But the
I would,
Oh
Pinto,
yeah, the
that's cool, man.
Mirthmobile,
It was not
the
cool at the
Gremlin,
time, but it's
or the
cool now.
Pacer.
but think about it though. Think about doing a CRX box in a Gremlin. Exactly. A CRX box in a Gremlin. I would be willing to bet it would put up some nasty, nasty numbers.
Probably so. It's got that nice rounded rear
Well,
hatch. It might do
no,
some
it's got
fun stuff.
that square hatch like that. Think about the Gremlin. It goes up, then it goes up, and then
Oh,
it
I'm
goes.
thinking about the Pacer.
Oh, the Pacer. Yeah, no, I'm thinking about the
Yeah.
Gremlin, dude. The Gremlin would be nasty. I really honestly think that Gremlin would get some pretty decent numbers. I would like to see somebody actually put a real system in one.
Hey, if I can find one, you want to trade vehicle?
No, but I'll help you build yours. Anything to get you back in the lane, sir.
Yeah.
Well, I see somebody just mentioned a VW Bug.
Boy,
So my question is,
I've had one or two VW bugs in my lane. There's
what class would that be in if I built a box in the front and ported it at the windshield?
we would put the meter in the back, and you would
Put
be
the meter in the back.
put the,
Would it be a
put the
console?
meter in the back seat.
We actually had somebody do that. They picked up about 4 decimals, putting it on the back window of a Crown Vic.
Yeah, but think about it. If it's a bug and it has the speaker box in the front, to make it fair to everybody else, you would have to put the meter in the behind the rear seats.
Let's define fair though. It's a stock vehicle, readily available, not modified.
But
Fronts are available. It could be a Tesla.
It could be a trunk car. But I mean, there's nothing in the rules that say it could run in the trunk class. It's in the trunk.
Right. It's in the
Right.
trunk.
It'll help you. The trunk's right next to the
Technically
window.
It's a readily available production vehicle. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen anybody do it, so I always wonder where the ruling stands on that.
We have a guy that comes to a lot of the Iowa shows. I believe he's on Team Orion. I can't remember his name, and I apologize.
No, it's Jamie.
No, not Jamie Brotowski. Brodowski. But no, he's got a really, really badass bug that like he'll come and just lay it down on the ground, and it's just an overall really, really beautiful build. I've sent you pictures of it actually, Billy. And the thing is nasty, and I really do like it a lot.
I know there's a blue one I've seen out at few shows. Really dope. I think Matthew Jean helped build it.
No, this one's white with red interior. He's an Hispanic gentleman. I can't remember his name. It's Mario, I want to say. For some reason, Mario keeps coming to mind. Yeah, it is Mario. Jamie said that, yeah. I can't remember
it.
What's Mario's last name, Jamie?
Oh, wait a minute.
It's I don't know if it's his or if it's his friends, but he brought it to a couple or 712 Boom, I believe, when I sent you pictures from Billy.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just the build is just overall, it's badass. So, Sam Dunn, I know you're in here. What's your new build that you're building, sir?
Which one? He's probably got like 7 of them.
No, Sam's the smart one. He sells his old ones to buy new ones. Come on, Sam. Let it out. Let's see what you got.
I know. I got the comments open. I'm waiting now.
Probably got bored and left. Exciting.
Oh yeah, man, I like this.
Second Gen Explorer.
So I can do this for a day. I can rent one like a boat, you know.
Hey, speaking of boat,
Boats.
I really think, and me and my wife was talking about this yesterday. All these people that have these really, really nice boats with loud stereo systems on it. I think during the winter, Base Wars should pay me to go down there to Florida and get a boat and to go
The
out in the
problem
middle.
is most of them are not. They're not going to meet her.
We could go out into the middle of the ocean and we could run a Base Wars event in the middle of the ocean and just let everybody pull their boats up to the lanes and see how loud they can get.
That would be
Well, like I
fun.
said, the problem is most of them don't actually have base that'll register on the meter, though.
Yeah, but still, even
Maybe
if
we
it's-
start a fad.
we could start something new. I'm telling you, there's a lot of loud boats. A lot of
Oh,
them.
there are. There's a lot of money and big money in that stuff right now.
Yeah.
But I think we need to have boats battling stunt walls down in Florida during the winter.
But could you imagine though, just being right out in the middle of the ocean and just having two lanes they could pull up on either side of the boat? That would be fun. I'm just saying, you know.
Well, see, if you're going to go down in the winter, like I said, you go down to Florida and you rent out the marina, and you have boats on either side, and then you got the guys with the stunt walls because it's Florida and they all have stunt walls. So you're gonna have ski racks versus stunt walls.
Yeah, but all the people with the nice boats with their huge systems not gonna want to come play next to somebody with all them stunt walls. Dan Current.
Have you ever heard some of them boats? They're about as bad. They are about as loud.
Street stock 5K.
Oh, Tommy said he got a stunt wall.
Tell me he ain't got a stunt wall. He's stunting over his own wall. Not fair, Sonya.
What you doing?
Oh, hold on. Sam done comment. Oh, street stock 501. Okay.
Yes, they would be cool, except for one thing. We don't clamp classes in Base Wars. Stop it, guys. We are not. Between you and Steve Herman, we are not going to clamp classes. No. Get away from it. Move on.
That'll be the SQ version. I'm serious.
That'll be the T-Fade version. Well, that's what we need to call it, is T-Fade SQ.
I think he already did one, didn't he?
The T-Fade SQ.
The fade class.
The Fade class. There you go. From the front cargo area.
Sorry, I forgot to turn the camera.
I reckon clamp class in Base Wars. Well, you might, but I think there's a lot of other people that would give you a decent run for your money. Like Dan Horner, for one.
Herman trying to hype you up to get a clamp class. Look at it.
He is. That ain't gonna work. You keep hyping, but no, sir. Sorry. And Monday Night Live, the Raiders, something. I don't know.
Yes, sure ain't the damn Chiefs, I can tell you that.
Nah. Chiefs suck.
Didn't they win the Super Bowl a year or two ago?
A couple years ago, yeah.
Boy, time flies.
A year
I remember
ago.
it seemed like yesterday.
A year or two ago, we didn't have to wear masks and shit, too. So a lot changes in a year or two.
Oh, Dan.
We still don't have to. Down here.
They're back on.
We're here.
They're back on mask where I'm at.
If I get sick, I'll wear it. Protect you guys. But till then, I ain't wearing it.
Turn your light on out there. Turn them railing lights on.
Well, the railing lights are on.
Okay, come on now. See, how did I know exactly where you was?
Because you've been there. Unlike Billy, who ain't been here. You know, at least Jimmy's been here.
Right?
Billy's scared to get beat on that pool table. That's
I
why
know
he
that's what it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna go practice some, and then I'm gonna come.
Hey, you know, November 14th, when you come down here to get your award, and he's here, you know, we could find a nice little
Oh
pool
yeah, I don't
hall.
want to come get it. I was told somebody was going to come and teach me how to use this pool table in my basement.
Right?
That's what I was told.
It's gonna be fun.
I'll wreck a Panda Express if Dan Curran comes.
I heard he got one of them Paul Newman hand signed, pool cues with, mother of pearl inlays and a couple diamonds in the tip. He was going to bring down and teach me how to play this game.
I got a pretty cool stick. I do.
Wow, now you all are a little TMI there. Hold on now. You're talking about your sticks and your
Right?
yeah.
Hey, Steve, Steve should tell us about that second gen Explorer again.
Yeah.
I don't think he mentioned anything about a second gen Explorer.
Yeah, we did hear that actually.
Who's got an Explorer, Tommy?
No. Steve, I think maybe Steve. I don't know. He said something about it.
About 6 times now he's said second gen Explorer.
Oh, no, he's got a van.
He's got about 12 vans. That's not true. He's got at least 2 or 3 of them parked in his house right now.
But Explorers can't get loud, can they?
Oh, yes, they can.
Who's got one that's loud?
The no-wall Explorers can get loud. Once you start walling them, they don't get loud. Steve, fuck y'all. We love you too, Steve. We love you too, homie. I know who he's talking about, Sam.
We all knew that one. So we got a week and a half to Wake the Dead. Duncan said he's got a demo waiting on you, Billy.
Do I know?
Duncan said he's got a demo for you, Billy.
Yeah.
Billy's not scared of demos at all. And I'm not going to say why. I'm not going to say why. I'm going to be nice. I'll be wise, but demos don't bother Billy at all. He'll sit in the loudest vehicle all day long and laugh at you.
Yeah, well, depends on if I got my earbuds and my heart protector in. Right? Yeah. Yeah, Steve's. I was. We sat in it that day. You can't see Steve when he's doing it, so you can't tell when the knob is. You can't tell when you're going to get hit. And that high note, when it hits, it's like, I wonder if that's it.
Steve's never gave me an actual full tilt demo. There's a couple of people speaking that is actually looking at that camera right now, Dan Current, that has never actually turned the knob up all the way.
I don't know what you're talking about, sir. That's all I got.
Even though I've offered to pay for a windshield, he still will not turn the knob up all the way.
I might have to save that one for Wake the Dead then.
All I hear is blah, 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 blah.
As long as there ain't no rain in the fucking in the forecast, then we might have some fun with it.
I got $50 in my pocket right now that says you won't.
I will say, I don't know what's up with this windshield that's in there, knock on wood, but it's been magical. It's been literally the same windshield has been through slam, scraping, about 24 hood shows.
Oh, I can tell you right now, you do not have kicker then.
Yeah.
No, I'd have lost every window then.
Are you going to pay for my window if I blow it at Wake the Dead?
You won't turn it up enough to do that.
At Wake the Dead, I will. I'll probably be in trouble for Mama when I get home, but...
Put a Band-Aid on it. Put some tape on it.
Bro,
she won't be driving it.
They must have glued it different because that thing, the one in the Armada, I mean, you see it. She's flexing. She's flexing a good 2-3 inches in the middle. And I can't explain it, but, I mean, it should have went 20 shows ago. But this thing is it's I don't know. PGW glass. That's all I can say. They make some magical glass.
Right.
And this has been one of the cheaper ones I've bought. And this thing has just Still there.
I'm gonna reach out to
Literally
somebody.
literally at the Hood Show we went to in Indy the other weekend. It literally snapped. I just put on brand new wiper blades to drive out there. It bent them backwards and snapped them in half from coming off the windshield. Literally, it broke both wiper
I've seen
blades
it
clean,
happen.
clean, like right in the middle backwards. But yet the windshield's still there. Jackie goes
That's
over
weird.
there, and the wiper arm. She's like, I could hear it tinking. She's like, the wiper arm was just smacking the glass. Windshield's still there.
Well,
Don't know.
I'm just gonna say, Sam, I haven't heard of any Neos in the works at all.
That is kind of makes me wonder why has Kicker not gotten to the Neo game.
Well, they do. They have Neo speakers, don't they?
You'd think they'd had them for a while. I mean, Neo's not exactly new tech.
No.
I mean, you can go back as far as like, you know, you had the Critical Masses and the Boston SPG 555s. Those were Neos, and that was, 15 years ago. So I've always
Neos
kind of
have been
wondered
around for a
why
long
a
time.
company with the resources the Kicker has not, and I'm not even saying it has to be like a monster Neo, like, a DDZ or something like that, but just a Neo sub in general. Why they never got into that.
I mean, it goes back to that old saying: "If it ain't broke, don't fix it." And the L7s have been monsters for years.
Yeah, but come on, need new,
Well,
innovative.
I don't work there, right? But I'm confident that selling to the masses probably doesn't want to purchase Neo.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, yeah, if you get into the big Neo motors, like I said, like we're talking DDZs or, the Sundown Compacts or any of the competition level Neos, yeah, it gets pricey because Neo is not cheap and there's a lot of Neo on those motors. But when you go into look at like the Critical Mass motor or the SPG motor, it's doable. I mean, and it's doable within Kicker's price range of a Solo X or something like that.
Yeah.
Or I would say even in the price range of what they retail L7s for. So,
yeah, I don't know. Who knows? That's one of them things that you never know later on down the market. Just like Kip used to say, or says.
This is what Kip says.
Well, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Right.
You never know.
Yeah.
I wish Boston hadn't never quit making car audio because, I mean, they were great. I hated when they got out of the game.
I have a buddy that
their
still
high
has
end
one
was
of their
really good.
ovals. I have a buddy that still has one of the Boston oval subs.
I've got two of them sitting downstairs right now. It was one of the most, in my opinion, the most innovative subwoofer ever made.
For sound quality, yes.
This was back when they came out. I mean, you had the JLW.
My Super Blues would kill them. Don't even lie. My Super Blues would hammer the hell out of them. They didn't know nothing.
I would say back when they came out, you had, I mean, as far as mainstream market, you had the JLW7, which was more of an SQ, but it was a nasty sub for its time.
Yes,
you had, the MTX 9500, but that was just so unobtainable for most people because of the sheer power it took to really run that thing. And then Boston dropped the SPG, the ovals. But the oval was so innovative, it was a Neo motor. You could field strip the whole thing and change any individual part on it in seconds. If you blew a coil, you could literally unscrew the center cap, pull the coil out, slap a new one and screw it, and never pull the sub from the box.
Yeah.
If you just wanted to change your ohm load, you could have different ohm coils just sitting there and swap it right there at the spot.
Please don't get him started on Boss Audio. Please don't. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, Sam, the 9500s, I think, when the 9500s dropped, the MTX 9500s were just behemoths.
Yes.
There was not much else that could touch them. They were monsters, but back then getting the kind of power to run a bunch of them would break your bank. And plus we didn't have, 400 amp alternators and the crazy stuff we have now. The RFL wasn't that good, Sam. They look cool. It was an interesting design, but I've never heard a set that
sounded right.
Impressive. Yeah, they just never
sounded right. I agree with that. They had that weird.
I think the 9500s killed them.
I agree.
So Dan, how much power do you run in yours? Do you think?
All of it.
Well, what am I actually clamping in mine right now?
He don't
Well,
know.
Yeah,
2800,
roundabout.
2800 to 3K sub.
Liar.
So
It's about 40.
12,000 watts, roundabout.
Yeah, give or take 12 to 13.
So what alternators do you have?
Two Brand X 390s.
So 800 amps.
Hmm.
And how much battery?
And 3 North Star 480s that are about 9.5 years old now.
How much current do those amps pull? You
How
think?
much can they pull, or how much are they pulling the way I've got them?
The way how they are in your vehicle.
I have
They
no
put-
idea. I've never
They
actually
put
questioned
a
them.
lot of
Are
damn
your
current.
alternators taking care of it, or
Yeah, oh yeah, I can hold voltage all day.
with the alternators?
But that's in fairness though, he's not turning the amps up to actually reach any max
Yeah, I
power.
get it.
or any
That's what I do too. That way, I don't break subs and I don't break amps, and I get to have fun all the time.
Yeah,
I get it.
I mean, honestly, yeah, there is way. I mean, I've got 4 Crossfire AKs in there.
He's barely
Everybody
tickling
knows
his
they're
subs.
capable of over 10K per amp. That's not even a question. But
That's what I was gonna say. You're tickling the subs barely.
the subs will take. If I
421,
wanted to do a quick burp, I could shove 9K, 10K a piece up them for burps. Windshield wouldn't hold. Firewall probably wouldn't hold. The subs would hold. But
Mhm.
I mean, we
Well,
just gotta set
I
it
was
up to do what
fishing
it
to
do.
see if you build if y'all build your systems to where the alternators take care of your current and not so
That
much
is
your
the
battery.
ideal build, but when you start getting,
Can't
You
do it,
can't.
right?
I
You
would say
can't.
once you start getting above about 25 to 30K,
Ain't gonna happen.
you're gonna, unless you're running, 7.8 or an Alma Gates alternator setup.
I think a max is probably 3 for most people. Otherwise, you got to do some serious alterations, right?
Well, they have some. They have a 4 alternator setups for like some
All
of
right,
the
even
bigger
4,
top.
and if you got 400s, then that's what 1,600 amps. How much power will that put out to? I'm asking. I don't know that. I don't know
I
the
mean,
math
you
in my
also
head.
have to think about the weather and the conditions though too. Like
I'm just talking
my
about electrical power.
like the
though.
nitro. The nitro would handle no matter what I threw at it. It didn't move. The voltage stayed just right where it wanted to. And I went down to scraping the coast, and I finally actually started to see the low 1400s down there because of the heat. So I mean,
I would say
weather
heat is
plays
a
a
big
lot.
factor, and a lot of other things. I mean, heat, just your amplifier is getting hot, they're going to run less efficiently. with full draw.
Yes, sir.
Your subs getting hot are going to run less efficiently. Your alternators aren't going to want to put out what they're going to put out at 60 degrees when they're running at 190, 200, 300 degrees. But I mean, to build, the ideal perfect world setup would be your alternators can hold the load, your batteries are just there to cushion it. But I mean, with the astronomical power people are doing now, it's just not feasible.
Not
Gonna
feasible.
take that battery.
No, yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
and this is where I'm going with this, and this is I'm questioning now. I'm not stating. I'm questioning. Lithium likes to be charged slow, right?
No, lithium wants that fast charge. That's the
Yeah.
beauty of lithium,
Yes.
is that whereas an AGM will only charge at a fairly slow rate, even ones like my 480s, which were designed for this, they're still only going to take, I don't know how to really break down the C rating and all that. If somebody wants to jump in the comments and get scientific, Herman, I know you'll probably do it. But lithium, on the other hand, wants to take pretty much everything your alternator can put out. And that's what makes lithium so capable when it's a small, light package, is its recharge rate is insane. I mean, just between bass drops, it's pulling in 400, 500, 600 amps, just feeding it right back into it instantly, whereas an AGM is only pulling about 70 or 80 amps back in when you just pulled out, 3,000 amps on that burp. So lithium's recovery time is insane compared to normal battery tech. And that is why they shine so good, as far as maintaining that steady voltage.
The refresh
Well,
rate.
part of the reason they shine so good, because of the insane recharge rate.
It's fast. That's what you're saying.
It is
Like
incredibly
a capacitor.
fast.
Very.
Like a
Yes.
capacitor.
Yes,
Yes, with a lot more storage output. Yes, or storage input.
Okay.
It's definitely the way of the future. I've just been waiting for the technology to stabilize, because it's like every time somebody comes out with, okay, this is the next great thing, you've got, okay, it's the JY. Yeah. Come on. I was waiting for Steve to whack some scientifical pi times square equals C rating times
You know he
divided
has
by
it all.
degrees.
How much
But
does Steve have in his?
Honestly, I don't know. I think he
Steve's
has.
got one Duralast gold battery under the hood. That's all he has, and he makes it work.
Yeah, because he's got like them.
It's not even AGM. It's straight lead acid, and he still makes it work. So.
Hmm.
Titans. I would agree with you on that one, Sam.
That's the
Well,
new. The Titan is the new. What's it?
I'll say the Titans. I'm a fan of so far of the JY40s, the new HP 40s. They have. I have seen them
yeah,
be abused,
Steve
and
just
people
said it
do
too.
things
40.
to screw them up. But I mean, I've seen them blow cells, but they don't burn, and that's been the beauty
But
of that.
I've also seen that as the exact same with C-Max. Everybody says it's so dangerous, how it'll catch on fire. I have had a battery in my basement that I was putting together, literally burst and start spewing acid everywhere. I took it out back to the backyard, let it sit for about 20 minutes. Then we put it in the fire pit. I shot it with a gun. Then another buddy shot it with a gun. Then we poured fire or poured gas on it and lit it on fire. So
My biggest bitch with C-Max is their used cells.
yeah,
That's what people fail to their use. I mean,
that
anytime
is
you're buying a C-Max
100%
bag,
right.
they are
100%.
junkyard cells. I can literally go down here to the junkyard in St. Louis and buy those banks for $50. But I
No,
don't know anything about them. I don't know what
I call
condition they
bullshit
are,
on
how
that.
old they are, how many
If you
miles
can
are
buy
on
it
them.
for $50, buy them and we'll make like 4 or 5 times over the profit on them. I promise
Oh,
you.
I'm sure we could, but like
No.
but this is why I don't trust C-Max is because yes,
Well,
it's cheap. Yes, they do work, but
here's my
you don't
biggest
know
thing.
what you're getting.
Like, we'll talk about my nitro right now, and I know everybody's probably sick of hearing about it, but I drove my nitro for almost 3.5 years as a daily driver. I ran it to every show from here to Mississippi and back for at least 2 to 3 years. It performed 100% amazing. I had it in wood boxes just to prove a point that it does not need to be compressed as long as you take care of the cells. And it worked perfectly for 3.5 years. I sold the vehicle to somebody. He had it for a while and he sold it to somebody else. That guy reached out to me this weekend. They did not properly maintain the cells in that nitro and they swelled.
How do you properly maintain a cell?
You always
Balancing, gotta keep them
keeping
balanced.
them on a
Watch your charge
keep them on a
voltage.
charger. You don't let them sit and you don't let them drain down. I mean, that's it.
So trickle charge.
Yes, sir. We have this a multi-regulated voltage. I don't know how that. It's some type of little fancy charger that we use.
Mm.
I see Sam out here talking about 50. Yeah, the thing is, the junkyards out here in St. Louis, they don't keep them. Like they don't technically resell them just because of the fact that they can't vouch for what they are, and it's such a dangerous item.
I don't care
So
if
yeah, when you go and you just holler
I
at
got
the,
$200 right now. Let's go buy
it's one
4.
of them. If I walk
Yeah.
back there and they haven't sent them to the recycler yet, it's $50. Grab it and get the hell out of here. But like I said, they technically they don't put them online and sell them. They don't offer it as a part they really sell. You got to go in there and ask for them and go, hey, you got any of the batteries back there? And yeah, we got some. Go look through them.
I mean, when I first put my shit in there, and I want to say it was 280 amp hours of CMAX. I could sit in there for probably, I'd say, a good 45 minutes to an hour and play it, and not have to worry about voltage with my car off.
Dang.
I will say the craziest part is too, even like because honestly, like my plan is for the new build is 6 or 8 JY40s. I'm a fan of them. Jackie's got one in hers and it's done incredible. I know a few other people running
them down there at JY do amazing fucking research, and they know what's going on.
And like I do like the HP 40 just because I have, like I said, I've watched a guy who did one wrong. He had his alternator went haywire and started overcharging at about 19 volts. It went stupid. So it fried the battery, went up in smoke in his trunk. I mean, all bad. Smoke, car full of smoke, trunk full of smoke, but it never burned. It all stayed within the case. It did what it was supposed to do. So I'm like, I can live with that. And like I said, I've watched the performance of Jackie's and monitored it just kind of as a test dummy thing, and that thing has been flawless. I have no complaints with it. So
David, to answer your question, I would have to say I don't know much about them, but I have the LTO lithium caps in my stuff. They're amazing, just phenomenal.
The Yinglongs are great too, but I can't do
100%, dude. I mean, scraping the coast. I would say probably 3 hours worth of demo time, and my voltage never moved. Sitting there with the car off, just demoing for 3 hours. I was.
Oh yeah, the Yinglongs I think are very safe too. That's what you've got in the Tahoe.
Yes, very.
But my problem with that is I can't. The Armada, the Nissans don't like that high voltage. Once it gets outside of 15, some of these newer vehicles don't like it because their parameters for all the sensors and gadgets and electronics in them are set for a threshold.
We have a.
Yep, iPad.
Right? I got him in here a little early, I think.
Now we can get this Neo question answered.
Yeah. I think he might have froze.
He might have froze there for a minute. We'll see. The lowest I've seen my Yinglongs, I guess is what I have, is been at like 14.3, and that's when I turned everything down and started to recharge. But that's like probably 3 hours worth of demoing.
Dang.
Well, I know in answer to Herman's comment, I mean, everybody I've seen on the Yinglongs recommends, 15.5.
Well, I charge
the charge voltage for what they optimally want, and I'm just like,
I've been charging them
12-volt
16.
Yeah, they like that. That's what I've heard. That's where they want to be. So I'm like, I'll just stick to the 12-volt range of, 14.8 max, and I'm good with that. I'm not. Obviously, I don't run my amps anywhere near their potential.
I was gonna say, but you run Crossfire though. You know you can run them at 16
They'll
volts.
They'll do 16 and they'll do insane power, but I don't even need that kind of power. Like I said, I'm clamping about 3K out of each amp, maybe 32 on a good solid run.
I would say probably 23, 24.
No, I've clamped them off.
It takes more than that to move those big subs.
Yeah, I say it's barely 20 and 3K.
If anybody ever gets in there and gets a demo, look back at them subs. They are not moving. They're like sitting there. That's about all you see out of them once in a while.
Yeah, but that's a lot of cone that don't have to move much. It's just a lot.
It's a lot of cone.
It's a lot.
He never turns it up. That's a lie. If Dan Current still has a window, he has not turned it up. I'm just going to say it right now on live. I'm calling you out, and I'm going to say it. If he still has a window, he has not turned it up.
I get ballsy. I will say slamology. I did. I sauced the hell out of it, slam, because I had a windshield sitting next to me. I had already
too.
My windshield guy was there, parked next to me with the windshield, and that was like the one time. And that was the same piece of glass that's in there now. I don't know what kind of voodoo hex was on it. Like literally, slam. I was saucing the crap out of it, slam, just because I didn't care. I already bought that windshield. Had my guy drive all the way to Indiana with it and park next to me for the whole show and just wait. I'm like, all right, I'm going to send it.
But
had one waiting, it wouldn't go.
That hurts, man. That hurts.
Now, if I'd have been in Kansas City and it was pouring down rain, it went instantly. Guaranteed.
Is Kip going to come back in here? Or?
He froze. I don't know.
He says because it was done in Indiana.
Yeah, I don't know if he's changing something or.
We need a patented Kip wig.
Right. Yeah.
Tommy Lee, I can't do 12-volt side for the ride in 16. I only have 2 alternators. It's an Armada. I can't do like you Chevy guys and put 10 alternators on my stuff because I literally had to hand fab the ugliest bracket in the world to get a second one on here. So
yes,
now we have Casual Kip. We had Kip iPad, and we have Casual Kip, who is also a square. There's nothing there.
That is weird.
Just a
I've
big
never
gray
seen
square.
that. Huh.
Silly Facebook.
Ah, there he is.
Maybe. I see a frozen him.
I thought Kicker would buy better Wi-Fi at least, you know.
Well, they out in the middle of Oklahoma,
Where's that cricket sound at?
right? I don't know.
Can we get like some crickets and some wolves and howling and
Yeah.
bullfrogs?
It's a bummer. Right?
No, Steve. Actually, I haven't seen your Suburban.
I already know who bought his bourbon.
Who?
It's this guy lives in South County, St. Louis. I heard he's on Team Ampere or win. He said he's going to get it louder than Herman ever had it.
For the win. For the win.
Farween.
For win.
I was waiting.
Yeah.
To see.
Was it a red Denali?
He said he's going to put Denali badges on it.
Oh, there's a live Kip. I see you down there.
Yeah,
Oh, y'all got a Kip? Because we ain't got a Kip on our screen here. Hold up. I don't see.
see.
Oh, we got a space. Oh, there he is.
Got it worked out. Right?
There's a live Kip.
He had to put an
Hey, man.
aviator headset on. That's what it was.
Right? Are you there? Or you froze?
We said that too soon.
There it is.
There he is.
It's back.
Yes.
Yeah, we got you now.
Well, I'll have to admit, I thought I was going to be really cool and I was going to join on my iPad, and it kept crashing. So instead, I'm on my 4-year-old Galaxy S9 Plus Android phone, and it works like a champ.
Go
That's
figure.
that Android like. Yep.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely. Android for the win.
I'm with, you know what? I wanted to do the iPad because it's a bigger screen. And it's a new iPad. It's not like it's an old piece of crap, you know, because all iPads, once they're 2 years old, they're just crap. So
Right.
it's a new iPad,
It's crap.
and I'd launched it 3 times, and every time it came in, all it did was try to launch, and it would just stuff.
Yeah.
So I was done. So I'm on the phone. So it's casual Kip night on the phone here at the house.
Right. It's been too long since you've been here, man.
There's some fancy little headphones you got on your head there.
Yeah, I've never missed an opportunity to use a set of Cush NCs because these headphones rock.
Yeah. Man,
Yes,
I actually use mine all the time. They're right here.
I use mine every Tuesday night because the wife gripes at me because it's the phone gets a little too loud watching the Tuesday night lives.
Sure.
Right.
I just had to put the hearing aid in. That that's not
Yeah,
So how are you tonight, Kip?
I'm doing well, actually. Billy, he and I were actually I didn't even think about you guys being on live tonight. So Billy and I were texting back and forth on something totally different. And I was at Lowe's getting some stuff I need for a project here at the house I'm working on Wednesday. And he's like, well, you want to come join us? There's some chat going on about this, that, and the other. I'm like, yeah, send me a link. I'll be home in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think a couple people have missed your patented wink.
right.
I don't know. My screen's so small, you may not see it if I gave you one right now.
Yeah. Somebody was bringing up Kicker and Neo, and
Yeah, right here.
I didn't say anything. So that's a cute
we
question.
got questions, Kip. We got questions.
Well, here, let me, you got questions? Maybe I've got answers. Let me rotate my phone there. I get a little bit of widescreen. It might look better.
There you go.
So here's what I'll say about Neo. Neo is a very controversial subject. And this is why I'll say this. A lot of people don't know. And I actually, I'll have to admit that I was a little shocked that there was such enthusiasm for Neo as a subwoofer magnet, because Neo, if you get Neo hot, it actually loses magnetic strength. So you have to do a lot of controlling of the heat, or else you will actually diminish the motor structure on a Neo woofer. Now, there are people, I use this in quotes because I don't want to put anybody out and, on any kind of a pressure line, but there are people that claim that they get better numbers using Neo subwoofers in their build than they do using ferrite. And when we brought this up, Jeremy Brown, Aaron Surratt, myself, and then Bill Brown, we were attending all the finals, everything for the last, be 4.5 years now, because we haven't been out for a year. And we brought all this back, and I'll be honest, Steve Irby, he's like, I don't understand why people want Neo in a subwoofer. He's like, a properly done ferrite motor structure with a tight gap. He says, I don't see the benefit to Neo at all. He says, BL is BL. If you hit the number in the gap, I don't understand why Neo is better unless they're just looking to save weight. And so
that was kind of my thoughts on it, was the weight factor and looking at subs of the past, like we were discussing earlier, like the Boston SPG or the Critical Mass UL12s, where it's been more outside the competition lanes and more of a mainstream subwoofer.
right.
And like when you look at the heat factor, the fact that the Gauss of the Neo is so much more powerful that you wouldn't need as much power to get the same efficiency because you have a stronger motor force.
Correct.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Nope.
So
The thing,
it'd be kind of a trade-off.
the thing with Neo is if you just take a Neo magnet and you just take a ferrite magnet, size for size, you're going to get more magnetism, or if you want to call it B, because that's what B of the BL equation. B is the magnet and L is the voice core of the motor. So let's just look at B. If I pick a B factor, and let's just say I want it to be 20 Tesla meters. Let's just say that's my number. I want a 20 Tesla meter strong magnet. Well, a ferrite motor is going to be substantially bigger to give you that same strength as a Neo motor, magnet to magnet. Now, throw that into a motor structure, you don't get all the magnetism from the magnet up into the gap. There's losses and everything that happen there. So the design geometry of the motor, your gap width and all that affects that. So when you talk about is a Neo motor better or worse than a ferrite motor, I guess you have to make a blanket statement that weight for weight or mass for mass, Neo does have more magnetism, but don't let that fool you into thinking that you're going to get all that extra magnetism from a Neo magnet up in the gap, because that's all about motor design.
Not gonna put it to ground.
Yeah, it's so it's. Here's what I'll say. We use Neo. We use Neo in all of our tweeters. We use Neo in our power sports drivers to save weight, because on a handlebar of a bike, you want to stay below 16 ounces. If you go over 16 ounces on a motorcycle handle, it becomes a gyro, which is bad. So there's a reason to use Neo there. We use Neo in our Q-Class coax product to keep that basket size down and keep that motor size down so it fits in lots more cars. We question the validity of putting Neo on a woofer for two reasons. Number one is we believe you can get the same strength in a ferrite motor in the gap as you can with Neo, number one. And number two, Neo is a very volatile price material. We've actually had projects in the past on the table that got all the way up to the point where, like, okay, let's build this, and we canceled the project because Neo prices had fluctuated so much, it made it unbuildable. It was just going to be too expensive. So I don't want to say never. I don't want to say that Kicker will never do a Neo subwoofer, but there's going to have to be a valid reason for it, and Neo's going to have to be competitively priced, because you can't eat a bunch of Neo that's at 10 times the normal market rate and then turn around, the price drops down, and then you're sitting there holding a bag of flaming doo-doo.
Right.
Because there's a lot more Neo in a subwoofer than there is a 25 millimeter tweeter.
Absolutely.
Right.
True.
So I guess that's the best way I can answer it. I'm not trying to lead anyone on. I'm just laying out the facts as we see them, because honestly, Steve Irby and I are both on kind of the same pages. Unless you're just looking to save weight, we don't understand, because a properly designed speaker, you can get the B that you're looking for in the gap either way.
True, but I mean, when we're comparing something, of the magnitude, like say the Solo X,
Correct.
monster ferrite motor, very large, very heavy.
Yes.
What will we have to have, Neo-wise to accomplish that same feat?
You would save about 25 to 30 pounds.
That's substantial when you get some of these larger builds where you're doing multiple subs.
Correct. I mean, that's your trade-off, or I guess your gain is you could gain about 25 to 30 pounds of weight going on a diet. And then from an engineering standpoint, you have to try to design the motor to keep that Neo as cool as possible, because if you get to the point you get it too hot, you're going to remove some Gauss strength from the Neo. That's everybody's Neo. That's just a property of Neo, period.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say that, but I mean, like you said, well vented. You look at some of the venting designs that we've seen on past ones,
Right.
And obviously, even ferrite, I think would be harder to vent because of the way it's designed, and you could do the center pole venting and all that, but with a lot of the Neo motors you see, they're vented via the sides.
Correct.
You know, the
Which
SPG was done like that. The UL12 was done like that, where it was basically kind of an open air. I mean, even going down the line like the DDZs with that kind of motor structure, where it's open for the venting. So,
you know, we're not oblivious, and I know everybody else does the same thing, or if they're not, they're probably foolish not to. I mean, we bring in competitors' product and we look at it, we put it in the labs, we measure it, we analyze it. We've seen some Neo product that, you know, you can claim it's open and it's vented and it does all that. We've actually measured some Neo stuff that runs extremely hot.
Mm.
There's a fine line between too open and not open enough that the air. The best way I can put it into context is if you've ever drilled like a 5-inch or a 6-inch hole saw in a big piece of MDF, if you simply take a blow nozzle of air and either do it yourself or have a buddy do it while you're cutting through that wood, if you have a blow nozzle that blows all the wood chips out of the way and cools that blade,
Oh yeah,
you'll cut through 3 to 5 times faster, and the blade won't go dull as quick.
right.
So it's that motion of air. It's not the air, but it's the fact that air is being blown across there as it wicks and pulls that heat away. So what I will say in open designs, just because it's open doesn't mean it cools.
Right.
valid point there too. Yeah, I didn't think about that. You know, when you're looking at like a DDZ type design, you know, the way their motor is, and a lot of other motor, yeah, it doesn't force the
They have
air
yes,
Correct.
much to it. But I mean, like looking at like I said, like the UL12 or even like the Sundown Nightshade motors, where it has the pole and then the vents up top, that kind of seems like it would circulate.
Right.
It would kind of
Yeah.
pressurize that air to force it through there. But
That's what you have to
I was
do.
curious.
You have to, like I said, it's a fine line between being too open and not open enough, because what you're trying to do is use that air as a cooling, as actually to wick that heat away as fast as you can. And it's a fine line. I can tell you from all the time I spend in the lab with the engineers and all the stuff we test of our own stuff and other competitors, I can tell you it's a fine line. And if you make it too small and you're trying to use forced air to cool things, then you get into a point where you're actually adding noise to the structure, which I guess if all you're trying to do is float babies, doesn't matter. But if you're also trying to make a woofer to be musical, you want to minimize that noise that comes out of whether your vented pole, your vented back plate, or vented spider ring, however you want to do it. There's lots of ways to do it, combination of those things. But you also have to watch that you're moving enough air to keep the coil cool for the rated power you want, but you're also not moving so much air that you get into noise, just like you do if a port's too small. You get chuffing through a port. The same thing can happen on a speaker.
100%.
So, I mean, those are the realities that we deal with.
Absolutely.
But I won't say never. I'll just say not right now. Especially not right now. Neo is through the roof on pricing.
Yeah.
Everything's through the roof on pricing right now.
But
everything.
You're looking at shipping containers last year that were $4,000 to $7,000 a container. This year are $32,000 to $40,000 a container. So when people ask the question, why are prices going up? Well, when shipping container costs have gone up 10 times, that's why.
And I wonder why that cost has gone up.
That's because they have to pay for all that fuel to sit out in the port for 6 months.
I was just getting ready to say the exact same thing, because they're all sitting out waiting to come in.
Yeah, they got to pay a staff to sit for 6 months on the boat while they just wait to unload now.
I think there are so many factors tied into that I couldn't put my finger on one. I just know that, working for a manufacturer, you probably get exposed to a little bit more of that information than an average consumer. And all I can tell you right now is the entire logistics, manufacturing, parts supply chain, the best way I've described it is my best phrase is it's all a dumpster fire right now.
Dang.
And Billy and I were talking about this a little bit earlier on some stuff. And so that kind of ties in what you were asking me about earlier, Billy, is it's bad. It's just bad.
Yeah, and it ain't just Kicker. Everybody's having problems with
No, it's
everybody.
It's not even a car audio problem. It is a consumer goods problem across the board. Name it. Costco, this sounds crazy, but Costco, they bring in and import a lot of their paper towels and toilet paper. They've now gone back to a restriction, even though, I guess people don't need to stock up on TP to sit on their toilet at home right now, but they've restricted it to one per customer in the store because it's not that they can't get the toilet paper, they can't get it shipped. And so I just read an article here about 3 days ago where Costco has actually gone out and they've leased their own shipping containers. They've leased 3 of them so that they can bring their own goods from overseas, whether it's Thailand, Taiwan, Malaysia, China, wherever it is. They're actually going to bring their own stuff over. It'll be interesting to see where they're going to port it, because they might be able to get it over here, but where are they going to dock? Because, as you know, LA is a mess.
Yeah.
I mean, there's literally
Apparently, it's
60.
not even just LA. It's East Coast too. Is getting
Everywhere.
that way too.
It's-
They're not
it's-
really advertising that as much, but it's from what I've read and seen, it's getting almost as bad.
Yeah, it's bad everywhere. So it's kind of interesting. Costco must have a plan, but they've gone ahead and leased their own ships and own containers to do their own shipping for the foreseeable future, so they can stay on top of their game and keep their stores full.
Well, you talk about 10 times the amount of shipping. I get it.
I know some other
That's a lot.
companies that has reached out overseas and built their own warehouse over in China and places like that, because they thought that far in the future.
Yeah, we have
I'm
several
sorry, go ahead.
warehouses, because I know I said, like he said, we have several warehouses across the globe because we are an international company, and you can't just ship out of the U.S.
And what's crazy to me is we have a shop, a chain of car audio shops here in St. Louis and Texas, and all called Custom Sounds.
Okay.
And they're a pretty large retailer. I know they sell Kicker too. They got 30-something stores, huge online. They carry all the major brands, the JLs, Alpines, Kickers. And as far as head units, I went in there about a month ago, and it hasn't gotten any better. I go into they've got 2 or 3 display rooms in each store, and I walk in, and my jaw just kind of dropped because I'm like, what's going on here? I look at the board, and we're talking a board that holds 25 head units. It's 4 head units in this board, 4 different head units. They got 25 head units in, but they've got like 4 brands of head unit. They've got Soundstream, Boss, Phase Linear, and Jensen. These are the only 4 head units in the store, and they just scattered them throughout the board just to fill the board.
Hey, you say what you want to, though. I love my old school Jensen radio.
Old school,
Because
yeah, but
I would
this is a
used
store
to
that-
just throw everything at it, and my CD would not skip. When
Oh, I've got
everybody
one
had
too.
these high price Alpines and Kenwoods and stuff, my Jensen was just sitting there playing just
But when
fine.
you're talking about a store that markets towards the higher end of things, that would have never carried these brands in the past ever. Like I said, Kicker,
They're carrying-
JL Audio, Memphis, the more known brands. You'd walk in and you'd see, the Alpine head units, the Stingers, the Kenwoods, the Pioneers, and there's not a one. There's not a one in any of the stores.
It's, I don't know that there could be a more perfect storm than all the things that have happened over the last 24 months to create this environment we're in, where it's next to impossible to run any kind of a supply chain because it's just a disaster. And you're looking at head units, and it's not just head units. I mean, Ford, GM, Toyota, anyone building cars, us, home audio manufacturers, TV manufacturers, everyone. AKM, which is that plant in Japan that makes microprocessors, DSPs, memory chips. When that plant burned to the ground, and it's been a little over a year now, they claimed they were fast tracking a new factory. It's still not up and running as far as I know. But that factory going up like it did has affected everything. And one of the things it did affect is one of the chips they make. It's used in all touchscreens. So like double DIN radios with touchscreen, anything with touchscreen. And that's why touchscreen radios are so hard to find right now. There's no chips.
Right.
You would think this would be a wake-up call, and somebody over here would make some chips.
It's one of the, I don't want to get into too many specifics because I might get into trouble, but I will say this: there are parts inside of an amplifier, and it's not just for a kicker amplifier. It's just like anyone making a Class D amplifier has to use this specific PWM microprocessor controller. It's how you make a Class D amplifier work. Everybody uses them. We're paying just for that one part 15 times what it should cost normally just to get them.
Dang.
And that's just one part inside of an amplifier that has hundreds of parts. That's one part.
Wow. That's brutal.
Wow.
And it's not just that, it's across the board. And I do know, and I don't want to throw any names out there because it doesn't matter, but I know there's some big name manufacturers that have actually made the call. We're not going to make any amplifiers until the prices come down. They're just not going to do it.
Yeah.
Well, it's a tough call too. Like when you're talking about stuff like that for marketing wise, you're paying 15 times the amount for just one part, much less
Yes.
the rest of parts that are
Correct.
Everything is going up. Now, what do you do as a manufacturer when the price comes back down? But now you've already had to inflate the price of your product. I mean, just to maintain some sort of profit margin, on building these things.
Here's the thing for us, and I can tell you it's happened in the past. It's when prices go up, we as a manufacturer eat them as long as we can. When prices come down, once we get the product that's in the barn through at the higher cost, we lower our costs back down. This last year, I know many big name manufacturers that raised their prices 2 or 3 times, and we just kept beating it and kept beating it. We had one price increase that happened in July, and we know some other big name manufacturers that by July had already raised their price 3 times. So it's a business decision. You have to decide, where you're at, how solvent you are, how much of this can you eat, how much of it you can. If you're moving enough product that the volume can kind of help make up for the raised costs, you're still, covering your overhead, which is what a business has to do, is cover its overhead. You make those decisions on the fly. I do know us as a company, Kicker, prices go up based on the materials and everything, and when the prices come back down, we readjust. We just don't stay inflated. I know a lot of companies don't do that, but
a lot of companies don't. They're like, well, they were paying that for this already. Why should we bring it back down? That's what they're used to paying now, and that always kind of irked me. Not even just the electronics department. It's a lot of manufacturers and items that
correct.
They just get spoiled by, okay, well, hey, we already charge $100 for this as an inflated rate. Why would we drop it back down? They're paying for it.
We were talking about those tag plates that I give away. That's the cost. The cost is double in the last 6 months. Smooth double.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And there's, that's if you can, luckily you can at least find them. I've been, my wife and I are building a house. So, whether I don't know if you know, but there's actually a PVC shortage right now. So if you want to go out and find PVC or CPVC fittings or glue or pipe or any of that, you can't find it. Good luck. And so I actually got in my car. It's been probably 2 months ago.
Drove down to Oklahoma in Kansas City.
Yeah. Drove down to Oklahoma City. I had to visit 3 Home Depots and a Lowe's to find 12. I only needed 12. I needed 12 fittings, and I had to visit 4 stores in Oklahoma City to get it. And I finally ran across a cat at the Home Depot, and we got into a conversation. He said, well, you know why this is so hard to get right now, don't you? I said, I don't have a clue. He said, the factory that makes the chemical that is used to manufacture all these PVC and CPVC parts had a fire, and they aren't making the chemical anymore, and they were the only one making the chemical. So everything you see in our stores is what's been coming out of backstock and inventory or warehouses, and there's nothing left. And until they start making it again, or another company steps up and makes this one chemical that CPVC and PVC manufacturers use to make all that stuff, there isn't any. And I was like, you're kidding me. Man. I mean, there's so many stories that, inside our industry and outside of our industry that you just go, how is this even possible?
Well, it shows how we're dependent on one product way too much. I mean,
absolutely.
So it's, it all ties together. I guess the whole point to this whole conversation is Neo is volatile right now, and this is just an example of the volatility across the board on everything.
Nice segue back into that, by the way.
Right? Yeah.
We were getting to the point eventually.
Okay, here's a question for you, because I don't think you can see the comments.
This is what I'll say to that. And Steve Irby would say the same thing if I was sitting here. Don't base the overall output or what your goal is on the fact that it has to be Neo or ferrite, because if you do that, you're not looking at the whole picture.
Right.
Steve said it adamantly multiple times. Says, I do not understand why people want Neo in a subwoofer. He said there's no performance gain. He said BL is BL.
Right.
So for us, the measuring stick is we know what the competition is. We know what the old Solo X was. We've already we've let the cat out of the bag several times. This whole pandemic and part shortages and shipping, the L7X 10, 12, and 15 were planned to have already been out in the market. They were supposed to have been out in the market January, February, March. That was our plan. And it's just been delayed. The fact that our engineers can't travel overseas has slowed everything down. Parts availability slowed everything down. But keep in mind that the new L7X is a completely different animal than the old Solo X was. And it's a completely different animal from the aspect that it's designed for what people are wanting out of a SPL/base woofer today. And that's long throw, so you can do high output at lower frequencies. And this is an area where the basic math on this, I think, is important for people to understand. I have a street build, weight and size of the motor is important, and makes sense. I understand, Sam. I don't want to tell you, I mean, without the patented wink, I don't want to tell you that we're not working on a Neo sub, but I'm also going to tell you we are. We know that people have a desire to have a Neo version. Not saying we won't ever look into it, but I can tell you, like right now, I'm not telling you we are, but if we had a Neo sub ready to go to market with right now to go along with the L7X, we wouldn't do it right now because the price of Neo is just way too high. I would be embarrassed to have to sell you what a Neo subwoofer costs right now. It's ridiculous. Neo is just way too high. So when the prices come back down on Neo, could it happen? Yeah, it's a possibility, but not right now. Prices are way too high. We just can't.
What do you think the other manufacturers are doing with the Neo? Are their prices going up? I don't know because I haven't bought any.
It's a commodity. It's going up for everyone. It's not just, it's not like they look at Kicker and go, oh, we're going to charge you more. No, it's for everybody. Neo prices have gone up substantially. And it's why Neo drivers are so expensive to begin with.
Yeah.
Well, other manufacturers are probably still in the stash of what they had. Neos are not a high volume sales item with any company. I mean, DDZ's not selling, 50,000 DDZs a year.
Right.
And Sundown's not selling 50,000 Sundown compacts a year, and et cetera, et cetera. It's not. So they're probably right now still floating on the existing stock of what they had. Now, there's going to hit that supply chain gap at some point, and we'll see what happens. But
yeah, if they're lucky, they've got enough stock to run through the gap and be able to get to the other side when prices come back down. Because it's, we have, like I said, we have so many other products that we do that use Neo, so we're in tune with what Neo costs, and the price of Neo right now is just astronomical compared to what it was a year ago. It's just crazy.
Now, I guess y'all would still buy what you need to do, like the tweeters and stuff.
Yeah, it's that. Yeah, that's where you make a decision. Either buy it and make the tweeters, or don't buy it and don't make the tweeters. So what we do as a company is we look at what the price increase is. We try not to take all that cost and put it on just that one product. We look at our entire product portfolio and go, okay, instead of this product taking a huge hit, what can we do across the board and raise the price of everything a little bit? We know these are the products that move a lot, so we can spread that cost out so no one product is getting hit that hard.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's how we do it. If you look at the old Solo X versus the new one, other than weight, because the new, like the 12, the L7X 12 is going to be like 66 pounds, I think is what it is. But it's an extremely long throw design. The old Solo X was not an extremely long throw design. It was using a underhung coil. So tall top plate, underhung coil, was extremely efficient. If you go back in the day and look at the numbers that driver was putting up on the board, it was insane what people were doing with a Solo X. But back then, they weren't trying to do it at 25 to 35 hertz.
Right, 70 hertz.
70 hertz, 80 hertz. And so here's the thing that maybe people know or maybe they don't know, but I'm just going to throw some numbers out there. Understand, I'm just picking these numbers to give you an example. If you take a subwoofer, and let's say it's playing 100 dB at 100 hertz, and let's say that woofer is moving 2 millimeters. And now you tell me, okay, I want that subwoofer to play 100 dB, but I want to do it at 50 hertz. Okay, well, that woofer to do that has to move 4 times as far as it did at 100 hertz. So now you're asking that woofer to move 8 millimeters at 50 hertz. Okay, now you go, okay, great. Now I want to play 100 dB and I want to do it at 25 hertz. Okay, so now that 8 millimeters, that turns into 32 millimeters. So to maintain the same SPL output as you start at any given frequency and go down half, so go down an octave, the driver has to move 4 times further to maintain that same SPL level at that half octave frequency. So when you look at what the old Solo X did versus what the new Solo X is going to do, or the L7X, the new L7X, like I said, a 12 is going to be 3.3 inches peak to peak travel. The old Solo X did not have 3.3 inches peak-to-peak travel. It had a very, 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 very focused ferrite motor structure that made full advantage of when that coil was in the gap and did some crazy things in ported boxes. Which
Steve
is what
has a good point here, though. I mean,
right? No SPL, true. An SPL guy, it's just your guys who are doing demo street pounders. Those are the guys who want to do that, or for whatever.
Those demo
I mean,
guys suck, though. We don't care about them.
for me, it's I like music. I like real music that an artist plays, whatever it is. And I'm not knocking it. It's just not for me. But what I have never understood, and I probably never will, is why do you take perfectly good music that has plenty of information in it and then rebase it? Unless you're just trying to float babies that's the only reason.
Float babies, because the things we
Float
do now,
babies.
it's all about the
Float
wind
babies.
tunnel.
That's
Take
the
that
only.
taco in the driver's window and let it go. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, we've already seen T-shirts and towels and all this other stuff, man. I know the goal. Everyone wants just to float babies. I mean, if we can float babies,
I
we'll
would say
be.
that was what got me in, because I was a JL guy for 15 years.
Great
And the
product.
W7 being what it was at the time, there was no other sub at the time that loved those lows.
Correct.
And had that.
I'd agree to
we were
that.
talking about excursion, it had the kind of excursion that a W7 had. So I mean, that was
Right.
Now of course everybody's playing these retarded lows like we all love to. So yeah, I mean, definitely, like you were saying, got to have that excursion to make it work.
And that's what you're going to see in the new L7X. Is the new L7X is designed to have much more excursion than the old Solo X did, but also understand literally the same guy who designed the motor for the original Solo X is the guy who's designed the motor for the L7X. So all the efficiency and tight gap and getting high BL and all those things that the old Solo X did, which still amazes me that people today still call that a reference motor structure. Understand the guy who designed that is designing the new L7X. So it
was a great motor. I've seen a lot of guys, Frankenstein subs, and that was the motor that a lot of them wanted to grab, was a Solo X motor.
I've seen that too.
Amazing man. I'll just say that right now. I actually had a nice little chit chat with him when I got the pleasure of coming up to the walkthrough with everybody, with Drew and all the teammates. It was in 2019. And I actually got to have a little one-on-one talk with Steve. The knowledge that that man has, or I would have to say the knowledge that he forgot, half of us will never know. He is a very amazing and humble gentleman.
He's a nice guy for sure.
Very much.
The thing about not just Steve, and you're right on that, and I agree with that, but anyone who's spent any time in any industry, whatever you've made your expertise in, or your daily living, or your hobby, the thing is, it's all about wisdom. And where do you get wisdom? You get wisdom from bad decisions. So a lot of that wisdom comes from making a lot of bad calls to learn that's not how we should do that. There's a better way. Let's figure it out. So, Steve's been doing this since 1973. So he's had a lot of time to figure out. And, Steve, his mantra, and he will not shift from it. And I tend to agree with him. After I've been at the company so long, I see where he goes. He says it's balance, balance, balance. He said, big magnets don't mean big performance. Long cone travel isn't always what you want. It depends on what you're designing for. As a matter of fact, if you're doing ported boxes and you're trying to get all the output around the ported frequency, you don't even need a long throw subwoofer.
Right.
If that's all you're looking to do. You're actually better off. You're better off with a short coil and a tall motor, and so it's always in control. So it just depends on what your design goal is. Which what I just said kind of sounds like the old Solo X. That's what it was. It was short coil, tall top plate. So you got to design. You have to design the speaker for your goal and understand everything's about balance. And you can look back through the years. There's been some speakers that Steve's made that didn't work as well as he wanted them to. There's been some others he's made that worked really well. Sometimes they were misunderstood, like the original XPL driver that had the concentric rings in it. There are still guys today that swear that's the best subwoofer they think Steve's ever made. And what's ironic about that is that subwoofer was not designed to be long throw or high power handling. It was just designed to have the lightest cone available and be super ultra efficient, that you put it on, you put one of those subs on 100, 125, 150 watts, it just hammered all day long. So it's all about design goals. That's the thing. And sometimes the manufacturer may not do a good job of saying, this is what this woofer is designed for. Oh, you're looking to float babies? This isn't the driver for you, but maybe this one is.
Right.
I think I heard that from JL, but I'm still trying to float babies.
Well, and I know several guys down at JL. I have a lot of respect for their product. They make a fantastic product. And it's not for everybody either. I mean, that's why there's all these different varieties and things out there, but I'll never say JL. I actually think, hopefully they're not listening, those want to shoot me. I think JL does, it's not that they do a bad job on their car woofers. They don't. They do a great job on their car woofers.
They gave up.
Well, I don't want to say that, but what I want to say is, and I've experienced their home stuff multiple times, and this is what I'll say. When it comes to home subwoofers, you know, the Fathom and the Gotham, I don't know. They're amazing. I don't know that there's a better home subwoofer than those products from JL. So I almost feel like JL, they still make great car product. There's not a thing wrong with it, but it feels like to me they put their focus on the high performance home side, and they've taken it to that next level.
That is their car sub. That sub that's in the Gotham and the Fathom, and I've had this conversation with those guys when I saw them when they first came out. I'm like, what is the variation between the sub you have in the Gotham and the Fathom, the 13s and the 12s versus the W7s that I run? And they said nothing. The dust cap, the logo on it. They said it is identically the same sub. They said the key is the amp and the enclosure.
They're close. They're not completely identical, but they're pretty darn close. But I think they've really excelled on their home line. I mean, it's beyond my budget, but if I had the budget, I'd have 4 Gothams in my book. I'd own them.
Well, yeah, when you compare it to the average, home theater sub that's about 300 to 350 watts versus a JL pushing 3,000 watts. I mean, it's going to be a substantial increase to what we're used to on a home theater.
It's crazy. I've heard the Gotham and Fathom multiple times, and on the home side, I mean, I'll admit I want them. I just can't afford them, but I want them.
I still got my old Sherwood Vega 18 sitting over there in the cabinets.
I think only Billy Temple can afford it. He's the only one out of us that can.
Well, he owns his own company, so he's a baller.
Right.
That's right.
Exactly. Right. Billy's got all the money. I mean,
he's struggling over $2 for a tag plate. Right.
But I guess the real, to kind of just circle back, my new phrase that pays, to circle back, I don't want to tell anyone that we're not, let me rephrase that. I don't want to let anyone think that we would never make a Neo subwoofer. I don't want to give anyone the impression that I'm hiding something. I'm not. It's just that if we were going to do a Neo version of, say, an L7X or something like that, the price of Neo would have to come back down. For us to even consider it, Neo's got to come back down. It's just too expensive for us to do. And then we got the reality. I don't see it coming
back down anytime in the near future either, especially with the rise of electric cars and motors. And I mean, they're all utilizing Neo in a lot of that stuff now. So supply and demand. It's going to be.
You look at. I'm gonna get too deep here. When you look at how the whole world works, and wars and countries and moves and things everyone does. China is moving into Afghanistan after we pulled out of there. And one of the things they're going in there after is because it's been shown that Afghanistan has a huge deposit of minerals, and one of those being neodymium.
Yes.
Huge deposits in Afghanistan.
Man.
So fill in the blanks.
Surprise there. Yeah.
But yeah,
the demand for it's definitely going up by the minute. I mean, before it was just limited to the subwoofer and speaker market and some electronics, but now with, like you're saying, with the rise and prevalence of EVs and stuff like that, and it's going to become a huge demand.
Neo's used a lot in military applications across the board for any country that has a military. I mean, Neo's big in there. You talk about speakers, which is just a small part of where Neo goes, but EV, which I've got to say, from a performance standpoint, they can have all the Neo they want for an EV, because last week I got the chance to ride and drive in Jimmy's Tesla S Plaid.
Right.
Oh, my God.
So race cars is done. The street race is over. You ain't going to beat that car.
No, you're not.
It's done.
When he took me out a couple rides in it, and then he insisted I drive it. So I drove it and drove it and drove it some more. And the performance of that car, I've driven that fast before. I've been in cars that go that fast. Mm-hmm. I've driven cars that go that fast. I've never driven a car that goes that fast, that quick, and handles literally like it's on rails. The precision of that car, the instantaneous torque, how fast that thing goes, my mind has been blown as far as from a performance level. The Tesla S Plaid is the reference standard. I mean, there's nothing else.
I rode with him when he hit it. I'm telling you, my brain didn't function properly for a second. round
I've
the
never
back.
been into Tesla yet.
I wasn't expecting it. He's like, "You want to go ride?" I'm like, "No, I don't want to go ride. It's an electric car, right?" He didn't warn me or anything, right? So I'm sitting in there, we're talking, and he just mashes it, and I'm like, "Whoa!" I'm reaching to grab, ain't nothing to grab, you know.
He did
But
it.
yeah, I've never experienced anything like that.
No, he got me behind the wheel, and so we're out, and we found some deserted long stretch of road because you need it with that car if you're going to play.
Yeah.
And
I agree with that, Sam.
he said, get it up to 70, 75, 80. So I did. I got it to about 75, 80, and I'm just holding it there. And Jimmy's like, punch it, just take it to the floor. And so I did, and it literally felt like a dump truck just hit us in the back of the car. I mean, it was just instant, and down the road it went. There was no delay. Oh, Sam, all right. Here's what's crazy, Sam. Understand, I work for a car audio manufacturer, and what you want in an audio system is going to vary based on what you're doing. Like what I would want in a boat versus what I'd want in a UTV versus what I want in my car. There's different things I want in that. In a car, for me, if I had that Tesla S Plaid with the stereo system that's in it, this is what I would change. Absolutely nothing. I was blown away with how well that car imaged and staged, which are important to me in a car. Now, if I'm out on a UTV, I'm going to put 4 or 5 pair of KMTC 11 cans on there and some power because that's what I want to do outdoors. But in a car, I want to listen to music. I want accuracy. I want tonality. I want imaging. I want staging. I want all that. And I want good, solid, tight bass, too. In a car, for me, it's not that I don't appreciate the big numbers that people go for, but a 140 to a 145 as far as output, that's all I need in a car. As long as everything keeps up, 140 to 145, I'm content in a car. It's all the louder I need for a daily driver. And
you gotta wonder, it had to have been like an engineer's dream to design the sound system for that car too, because they're not fighting the noise and the stuff that you're fighting in a normal vehicle.
Correct. It's got a much lower noise floor.
Optimal environment.
You do. And what was crazy about the car is it left centered right on the driver's side. It left centered right on the passenger side. Even in the back seat, it imaged, which was crazy. And no, this car, we didn't meter it. I'd say it's definitely doing mid 130s probably. But it's solid. It's tight. It's got real bass. It's one of the factory systems that I've ever heard that has, honest to God, real deep low output. I was shocked. I was really blown away with the system in that car. And of course, with it being an electric car, one of the feats the engineers had to overcome is I'm sure they were just drilled. It's got to be efficient. It's got to be efficient. You're running off the battery because the more watts they put into the audio system, the lesser it's going to drive down the highway. You're literally taking away range. But I was shocked. The stereo system in that Tesla Plaid
can't own EVs.
Yeah. Well, and on EVs, here's the cool thing about the upside and downside. They keep all the high voltage away from the average person. There's 420, 440, 460, 480, whatever the pack battery is. But then they have this 12-volt side that you can tap into that they do their lights and other things with. But it's a minimal, and it's just like an alternator. There's only 60, 80 amps of charging that comes off of that. So you can't just start stacking a bunch of 12-volt gear in there and thinking because you're going to run out of alternator and battery just like you do in a regular car. But as this keeps going on, and I know this is one of the things that Jimmy and I talked about, is at some point we're going to have to get creative on how we can tap into these cars, because if you could tap into the 400 plus voltage side of the equation,
Teramps has already played with that. I mean, you look at the Teramps has the 160K. No, I'm not a fan of Teramps on any level, but the ingenuity behind that thought and the fact that they were a little bit ahead of the curve on something like that. I think it runs on 280 volts for its optimal, 280 to 290. Yeah, the thing does 160,000 watts on a $700 amplifier.
Right.
But the biggest problem with that is you're going to have a lot of dead people, because you're going to have all these backyard builders and kids that are used to playing with 12-volt systems.
Boy.
Oh, I'll just hook it up like an amp, and they're going to die. Literally, they're going to get killed.
Yeah, for anyone who's out there listening, this is for real. Electric car, the big battery pack, it'll kill you. You don't mess around with it. There's enough voltage in there, it will kill you. This isn't just some infomercial and, the more you know, it's not, this is serious. There's enough DC voltage there. You don't want to mess with it. So it'll be interesting to see moving forward, if there's ever an opportunity, if the manufacturer of cars give you the ability to safely tie in and access that voltage, because I know
liability, they'll never do it.
Liability, they don't want to, but
No, they will never do it liability wise, because if they do that, somebody dies, it's game over. And
It's
like
10,000
like
watts.
we were just saying,
half
it
an
can
amp.
kill you. But as a if you guys branched into something along a high voltage series where you had, all right, we only sell this product via a trained facility, like say Custom Sounds or a retailer that has somebody trained in that specialty department. Just
sure.
like, I mean, when you go to the car dealership, Toyota has somebody who is specially trained to service the Prius via the high voltage system, and vice versa with every other hybrid. Your average Jiffy Lube mechanic can't do that, but they have somebody who's that. And so I could see, if that was a possibility, possibly Kicker getting into something like that, where you certify, you have your classes and certifications for that, and whoever your retailers are, if they want to have one of their guys certified in the high voltage thing, I think that would really be the only way to safely, as a company, get away with something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's
just
definitely,
doesn't care.
yeah, they either don't care or they can't get sued. I don't know. I mean, there's all those
Right,
realities.
they don't care, but they're just.
We're in Brazil. Come get us.
Go up here to come handle
Right.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Sam,
I mean,
it'd be possible,
it's a possibility.
Sam. Yeah, when you've got that kind of voltage coming out, it certainly makes it an interesting. For most sizes of amplifiers, you'd end up stepping everything down because you wouldn't use 480 volts. It'd be crazy, but that's the thing. But you'd have to design the amplifier to work on some voltage. I mean, if you design it to work on 480, it's going to want to work in plus or minus 10% of that. In order for you to get power of that amp. That's another thing. You bring that up. A lot of people, they talk about amplifiers, why don't you make the voltage range 9 to 18 or this, that, and the other. And what you have to tell them is, if you're looking to optimize what an amplifier can do, any amplifier, you got to choose a voltage range and then be within 10% of that. So if you design an amplifier to give you
a dual input side, kind of like when you buy your normal house electronics, you have 120 and 277 volt settings. There's a little switch on the back.
You'd have to do that, and it adds cost because you'd have to use a secondary transformer. You have to do multiple taps on your main transformer and switch between them.
Sure.
I mean, that back in the day, like an XS100, the only difference between an XS100 and a 500 SI was fewer windings on the transformer. That's it. You lower the rail voltage so that at the lower impedance, you're back to the same draw on the transformer, the same draw on the output devices.
Dang. Boy.
And biasing was a little different, but other than that,
that's a cheap way to do it.
It is. You just have to.
I mean, it's some Kicker's definitely going to have to start looking into is, the car market changing. So.
Oh, trust me, we have the conversation and we talk about it. It's the thing for us is the car market is changing. There's still 12 volts even in the EV cars, and that's really the only safe place that you can tie in. We're not ready to go headlong into making an amplifier that ties into the big battery pack because of all the liability issues that exist at this point. So for us, what it boils down to,
standpoint?
Even on the OE side, they're running that whole system on the 12 volt side. They don't run it off the big pack.
Right. Or you guys could come in and change that.
I don't want to say never, but for us, what it boils down to is it changes things only from the fact that efficiency is king. So efficiency of amplifiers, efficiency of speakers, all that, because you got to maximize what you can get out of the 12 volt.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. From an OE side, you guys could literally create a high voltage system to go in these as far as the amplifiers and all that, perhaps.
That whole liability thing, I don't know yet. That's above my pay grade. No, I'm saying
on the OE side, like when the car is manufactured.
Right.
I know Kicker has dabbled in the OE market as far as, available, that you can buy a stock vehicle with a Kicker sub in it or a Kicker system. I forget what brands and manufacturers did it, but I know Kicker got into the OE manufacturing, and that could be something you guys could look into for some of these new EVs coming out. It's
possible. I'm not going to say no, but what I will say is that when we got into the OE side of the game, you have engineers on the car side fighting with engineers like ours on the audio side, and it's okay. We're going to give you a 13 amp budget. That's all you get. So what can you design us for 13 amps? Well, we really need you're not getting 15 amps. What can you design for 13 amps? That's your budget. And that's how they look at a car, is everything's budgeted. And so like in today's modern cars, which this is, I don't even know where we're going with this conversation. But anyhow, like back in the day, if you had a 60 or 65 amp alternator, that was pretty stock in a lot of vehicles. As far as that was actually a big alternator, and an upgrade back then would have been like 100 amps or 120 amps. I mean,
120. Yeah.
a buck 40 was pushing it. 120 was probably the big alternators back then. Well, you fast forward to today, and you've got cars that have 120, 140, and 160 amp alternators stock. And so what's crazy about this is a lot of guys will get, they get those big pepperoni guys going, man, I got a high output alternator. I got all this. I can do whatever I want in my car. And I got to go, whoa, time out.
Needs it.
That car, the only reason that car has a 120 amp alternator is because all the electronics and everything in that car that needs to run, the factory decided that's what they need to run the car. So now if you're going to put 1,500 watts or 2,000 watts or 4,000, whatever you're going to put on top of that, you don't have a high output alternator. You need to add on top of what you already got. And that's what's crazy is it's the perspective is, where you start and where you go is that, cars today have by conventional standards, big alternators, but they're only there to run the car, not extra electronics.
Right.
I'm watching your kitty behind you every time you move your hands.
Yeah.
Your kitty, like looking at your, yeah.
That's Max. He's Paula's cat, but he'll come over and say hello to me every now and again.
Right.
He's a good cat.
He's ready to get you.
He's hiding back here.
No doubt. So you have brick yet? No?
Believe it or not, they told me I wouldn't see brick until after the first of the year. So they were telling me I wouldn't see brick till 2022. The brick arrived a little over 6 months after I ordered it. So it arrived early.
From Iowa.
Wow.
So I've got brick. Now I'm trying to find a bricker.
Right.
I actually might have somebody that I could hook you up with.
If you got somebody who wants to look at some plans and shoot me a bid, I'd talk to them.
Yeah. I'll hit you up tomorrow. I actually might have somebody that will do that.
Do hit me up because I can send him I can send him elevations and a house plan, and he can have the numbers and give me a shot back for a bid.
They don't get the mortar from China, do they?
I hope not. Because I told him when they did all this order, I said, I just want to pay for the brick. I said, we'll get the mortar and the steel lentils once the brick arrives, because of course steel was so high. And of course, steel's starting to come down a little bit, but it's still a little elevated. So I didn't order the mortar or the steel. So now I've got the brick. I got to turn around and order mortar and steel. But I need a brick guy first. I want to talk to a guy that, okay, this is how much mortar you need. This is steel I want. I want to make sure it's what he wants. Because he's the one doing the job, not me. I don't want to buy stuff that's not going to do the job right.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
So thankfully I got brick. It's actually sitting outside. Yay. We actually came home from my brother's wedding and pulled in the driveway, and I got out of the car and I looked. I'm like, something doesn't look right. What? Holy crap, that's brick. It just showed up. It was while we were away. And so the next morning, I go to work, and here's a semi truck's backing down the driveway, and he's delivering the other half. They had to bring it up on 2 semis because of weight. Brick's just heavy. Yeah. And I got talking to him. He was like, yeah, he said, they got your order done early, blah, blah, blah. I was like, man, I'm glad to see it. He's like, man, you're lucky. He said, we got people that aren't going to see brick for another 6 months. Like, wow.
Dang, that's brutal.
It's crazy. And that's made here in Oklahoma.
I deal with a lot of it here in my industry. I'm an operations manager, and I have 15 buildings here that I deal with downtown, high-rise buildings.
Right.
And just from the aspect, all the way down to just finding the little simple flapper that goes in your toilet. We are back ordered so far. Garbage disposals. I cannot find garbage disposals right now. And I'm going from every manufacturer that is out there. And trust me, I've hit them all. You can't find garbage disposals that are not 6 months behind.
Yeah, no, we're here talking car audio, and I really meant it at the beginning, is that every consumer good you can think of is a disaster right now as far as availability, manufacturing, and shipping. It's horrible. 100%. And what's kind of concerning is I don't know that the average person knows how bad it is, because stuff's been floating out of warehouse. I'm sure it's been great for everyone because now this old stock's coming out of warehouse. They're cleaning things out, which is good, I guess. Yeah. But once they clean things out, there's nothing to replace it with. And so,
we all you had to logically think this was coming, because when you shut the world down, when you have an infrastructure that's a steady running conveyor belt and steady running production, anything, and all of a sudden you just stop that conveyor belt for 2 to 6 to 8 to 10 months to a year, So eventually that gap was gonna hit. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no way around it. You're gonna hit that stopping point. You know, like you said, everybody's now hitting the point of where the warehouses and the old stock is going out. Now it's just becoming everything's non-existent.
Well, it's what you were saying about radios. Is I know dealers who are carrying, and I don't mean this to sound bad, but I look at them all as low end radios. They're carrying low end radios because there's nothing else available. Nothing.
Right. That's why Customs House did. They're like, we have to have something to sell. Because I was like, what in the heck are you guys doing carrying this? Basically, I call it crap. It's straight crap head units. I'm like, why are you guys carrying that? And they're like, we don't have anything else. We have to sell something.
And for someone like me, and I've owned a Jensen radio in my past, so I'm not going to be too harsh on it, but it's Jensen. But if I was shopping, for a new head unit, I'd be looking at a Pioneer or an Alpine or a Kenwood Exelon or XR. I mean, those are the brand that maybe a Sony if I was wanting to get a high-end piece, the media head unit they've got. Those are what I'm going to be looking for. If I walked into a store and the salesman said, and walked me over to a Boss or a Jensen or any of these others, I would just look at him and go, no, man, I'm looking for a good radio. I don't, this isn't even, no, these are great, man. It's great because it's what you got on the shelf to sell, but it's not what I want.
I'm just trying to picture the guys at Custom Sounds going, sure, we have these JL Audio VXI amps and we have these Focal Utopia components. Oh, and we have this Soundstream head unit. Let's put this together for you.
Yeah,
okay.
That's rough.
Off-brand Chinese, whatever, that they're selling. Yeah, absolutely.
It's like you bought high-end everything, and then you built the car up, and it's got the suspension, and it's got the big Bembro brakes and everything, and then you said, well, we're going to put it for motor. I don't know. I got a Briggs & Stratton lawnmower sitting over here. Let's grab that thing.
It's a DeLorean. That's what it is. They're not selling DeLoreans. You've got this beautiful everything else with a crap motor in it.
I got this delicious 10-speed box. Let's put a Briggs & Stratton in there. I think I got a 15 horsepower sitting over here. It'll be good.
That's why you stick with your factory head unit and buy a nice inline lock system to help it out.
In today's world, most factory head units, as long as you get a good signal out of them, whether it's through an Amp Pro or a Zen TV piece or any of those pieces, or if you have to do something like we do, like if you can't get that, like a key lock which flattens everything back out, you can get great sound of a factory radio today. I mean, you're a whole lot better off to upgrade everything else and leave the radio and then spend that money later.
Sometimes you don't have much choice anymore.
Yeah,
very true.
As long as
you don't have an option for change that head unit out.
No, they don't.
As long as you can bypass that whole factory setting where it turns your radio down because they don't want you to blow the subwoofers.
Oh, the bass kill.
Yes.
I
have that truck and I hate it so much. Like I hit volume 23 and it goes from volume 23 to up to 40. From 23 to 40, no difference.
A lot of the new DSPs and line converters are compensating for that now, though. I know everything from JLs to audio controls to a lot of them now. I have got that the base. They compensate for that. They bring the curve back up. So
yep,
that's the upside.
That's why I'm very excited about this new build that I'm going to be throwing together to help that weak system out.
I'm excited to see you get that done too.
I got a package today, so I'm really
2025. It's going to get done, Kip. 2025.
No.
Well,
no.
You say 2025, to rib on him and joke, but the reality is, as far as normal for manufacturing everything, we're being told that, and this is assuming nothing else happens, we're not going to see a return to normal till at least 2024.
I heard 2025 before normal.
I know you guys were kind of ahead of the curve a little bit, but y'all keeping your dealers fairly well stocked?
Here's what I'm going to say on that. My only reference is from inside of our building. Since I'm not outside at a dealer, I don't have a day-to-day view of any other brand. All I know is ours. Right. So I'm sitting inside our building, and I didn't make this phrase up, but it's worth repeating, is that if you walk through our warehouse, it looks like a block of cheese, Swiss cheese. Mostly holes, very little cheese.
Right, I remember.
So I didn't coin that phrase, but it's very appropriate.
I will say, I know you guys have picked up some retailers, and don't take this the wrong way.
No,
as derogatory in any means. But guys that work, shops that weren't kicker dealers, they sold a lot of the Memphis and other stuff, but they weren't kicker dealers that literally reached out because you guys have stock.
Correct.
And like I said, I don't mean that in a derogatory manner in any way, but it has in a way helped you guys out a lot too, because you've gained a lot of dealers because, well, guess what? Their normal retails and dealers or manufacturers they already had don't have anything. So what do they have to do? They're gonna reach out. So
there have been a lot of dealers who never experienced kicker product before or had a negative opinion about kicker products, even though they didn't know why. And due to this whole situation, they brought kicker product in because we were one of the ones that had gear in stock. And it's funny, all those people have changed they're like, this kicker stuff's really good. Yeah, we know. You just have to try it. And so it's been interesting. But I will say, I'm trying to remember who it was. It's a buying. It's one of those buying houses or buying. It's where all the dealers get together and they buy through. I think it's called EDA. I may have it wrong. Yeah. I've sold all of our Q class subs and KXA amps and all the quad box I've gotten in. Yeah, Josh, that mimics everything that every kicker dealer's been saying. Is they get it and they sell it. So what I can tell you is, from our side, we see a lot of holes. We are getting stock in and have been getting stock in. And the thing with it is, it comes in, it gets QA'd, QC'd immediately, and it goes right back out the door. So I tell a lot of people, if you're visiting kicker.com, do not look at our website because we keep no stock for kicker.com. We fulfill all dealers' orders first. So if you're looking for something, go see a dealer. We're going to show we don't have it on our website, but it may be out in a dealer store, whether it's brick and mortar or online. You're going to have to go check because we're not going to keep stock for us until all of our dealers are fed. So that's
on there.
So that's how we operate on that. The thing is, we received an award last year, and we were called best dealer or best manufacturer during the storm, because everyone is telling us that of all the brands they deal with, name any brand you want, they're saying of all the brands, you guys have done the best job of supplying us product and keeping us supplied in product. And so what's kind of ironic about that, and that's why I say I'm looking through my eyes, through Kicker's eyes, I'm like, man, we don't have anything. But through our dealers' eyes, they're like, if it wasn't for you, we'd be out of business. There have actually been dealers that have said that. So, no one's your worst. No one can be a harsher critic than yourself. And so obviously, if you're honest and you look at it, I'm going to be a harsh critic on what we've got. But through outside eyes, people say we're doing a fantastic job. So I'm glad for that.
Cool.
I will say you guys are definitely producing a lot more than Billy's producing trophies. So I will say that. Oh, did that come out?
Well, they're making the steel over there. And they're like, we can make speaker baskets or we can make trophies. Well, we're gonna go speaker baskets.
Yeah,
I got to rib Billy on that one every chance I get. Sorry, Billy.
He hasn't gotten his trophy yet.
Well,
hey, let me tell you something else about the trophies, Kip. You don't know this. After I got the baskets from you guys,
right?
I had already done all the woodwork and dropped it at a guy that's covering everything, right? And he's covering, put together his idea. He came up with the concept of the trophy, right? He didn't know I had done all the woodwork. I dropped that tub. He never looked in it. He forgot that I brought him the woodwork, and I did it all with a CNC.
Oh,
so he's been remaking the trophies from ground up, and he's done.
Yeah, they were sitting in the tub ready for it.
Listen, man, he would send me pictures of the woodwork. I'm like, okay, well, you stacked up the woodwork. Good job. I'm like, what in the world? And but what he was showing me is the progress he was making, right? Keep me in the loop. But I'm sitting here thinking, why are you taking pictures of what I dropped off months ago?
He's giving you the personal touch.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we just figured it out a week or so ago, and they're about done now.
That's funny.
Yeah. So that held us up a little more because we didn't communicate. We didn't know. I'm
Sure.
sitting here thinking, like when I got the baskets, I was like, hey, man, how far are you along covering those pieces? I said, how much have you done? That's the way I phrased it. He says, I was waiting to get the baskets because when we couldn't get them, we were like, well, maybe we're going to use some different baskets, right? But we
Sure.
still mount them on the same thing. And that's what I was thinking. But he was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to get, so I'm not going to start. He was thinking he had to build them all. And all that woodwork, all those inserts, all that stuff right there in the tub.
Now, Billy, Kip's gonna know when all the new trophies have octagon-shaped baskets on them. They weren't his.
Right.
He's gonna know who
well,
you cheated on him.
luckily, we got good ones. we got good ones. So
I will know that.
Pentagon shaped. That shit said a Pentagon shaped.
right.
Yeah, if you go Pentagon shaped,
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, but they're about done, and then I guess probably a couple weeks I'm going to where's Lucci's show? Chicago, right?
Springfield.
Anyway, I'm going up there somewhere to a show. I'm gonna bring some. Then I'm gonna come again up there somewhere, and I'm gonna bring some more. And so people be getting them in the next few weeks.
Well, I ain't gonna mention that you're driving right through St. Louis on your way to Illinois.
That's what I'm saying. Am I really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good deal. I got a free room. He's got a pool table at his house, man.
oh,
I think
I know what
Loser
Billy's-
washes the dishes.
I know what Billy's gonna do.
Loser washes the dishes.
So I just got a pop up on my phone. I'm almost out of battery, so if I just disappear, you know where I went.
Yeah,
I'm in that
that's
same boat.
Yeah, well, we ought to probably wrap it up. Been on 2 hours anyway. But Kip, I appreciate you coming, man. I wanted to have you on, but I know you do the Tuesday night thing, and I didn't want to bother you on another night. You know,
You're not bothering me. If there's a topic that's worth discussing, you want to have me on, just let me know. It's no big deal at all.
well, you
Pardon
know,
me.
we don't really have topics here, right?
We just kind of
Yeah,
wait.
that's cool.
Let
I
it go how it
appreciate
goes.
it.
Well, since you don't really have topics, I don't really have a studio tonight, so it fits.
Right. Yeah. And so, listen, this is a funny and not nobody knows all the details. We talked a little bit about it, but so I negotiated with them, and I just got it cheaper than originally. I have to wait 2 extra weeks.
For the plates that you're talking about?
Yeah.
Bad plates.
Well, so you did get a better price.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Okay, I need all them plates right now, please.
Me too. But we're at least now we're 45 days instead of 30.
Well, if you're getting plates, that means I'm going to be short about a dozen subwoofers. So thanks, I appreciate it.
But they're aluminum. Right. You're good.
You're good. Dude. We're using aluminum.
Right.
That's funny.
Hey, that could
Funny
save
but
on
true. Funny but true. Raw materials. I mean, they're allocating.
They are.
You know, we had to. It's funny. There's only so many parts available. So even us, we're having to decide what we're going to make and what we're not going to make because there's not enough parts to make everything.
Right.
It's crazy what's going on in the world right now, friends.
Yeah,
Just
man.
crazy.
Wish it would hurry up and be over. But
I'm ready.
Well, Kip, it was definitely good to get to talk to you, man. Finally, see you on here all the time, or on your show all the time too. So
Right.
My
glad to get to
pleasure.
talk to you finally.
Great to spend some time with you. I appreciate it.
Hey, so after I came up there, I saw some gizmos that y'all had, and I found a couple that I could afford. And check this out.
He said those new earbuds are looking really good.
Right?
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's fun. Fun little thing. But anyway, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. Dan, you too.
Definitely. We appreciate both of you guys.
Yeah, we're going to end up, Jimmy and I never eat supper before this. I think my stomach's hunting my backbone.
Right? Yeah.
Right?
I think it's in my thigh by now.
Do I?
It's in my thigh muscle by now.
Right.
Well, thanks for the invite, Dan. Good to be on the feed with you. I appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you again soon, man.
All right.
Absolutely,
Man. I
brother.
appreciate y'all.
Thank you guys.
All have a good evening.
It's been a long road since the original kicker christened that first pickup truck. Oklahoma has always been a hotbed for musical talent, and Stillwater just added to that legacy. Steve Irby essentially invented the full-range mobile audio enclosure market when he built the original in 1980. That kicked off a car audio renaissance, and upgrading your music in a vehicle was a requirement. We followed and supported enthusiasts who sweated over unbelievable audio systems to recreate perfect mobile sound. America's music machines became living loud over your passion, your emotion, your existence. From boats to motorcycles to side-by-sides, we still follow you wherever your music takes you. Outdoors or on the open road, Kicker provides the rhythm to your life.
Night, everybody.
Oh man, I forgot to kill